Hello dear Homepedia family. Imagine walking into a space where the air feels lighter, and the chaos of the outside world simply melts away. We picture a sun-drenched courtyard framed by soft, lime-washed arches that guide the eye toward a solitary, handcrafted timber bench. This is not just a house. It is a sanctuary where the rustic charm of the Spanish countryside meets the intentional restraint of Japanese design. The fusion creates an atmosphere that we immediately recognize as something rare, a blend of history and modernity that feels completely timeless. But why are we seeing this specific aesthetic exploding across social media feeds and architectural magazines right now? It seems we are collectively craving something that minimalist white boxes failed to deliver: genuine warmth and texture. By marrying the earthy, imperfect soul of Hacienda styles with the clean, functional lines of Japandi, we discover a look that is breathable yet grounded. Today, we are going to unpack exactly how this Japancienda hybrid works, exploring the materials and layouts that define this quiet luxury. If you enjoy this journey, be sure to like, share, and comment because your engagement helps us inspire even more. Let's start with the bones of the building, specifically the architecture that sets the stage for this look. We often see the traditional hacienda arch, which historically supported heavy roofs, now repurposed as a visual softening tool. In a Japancienda home, these arches aren't ornate or heavy. They are stripped back to their purest form. We notice how they create a gentle transition between rooms, framing views like living artwork, while the absence of sharp corners immediately signals our brains to relax and slow down. Moving on to the walls, we have to talk about texture because flat drywall simply doesn't cut it here. The magic lies in the application of plaster or lime wash, which adds depth and movement without screaming for attention. When sunlight hits these surfaces, We see a beautiful interplay of shadows that changes throughout the day. It's a tactile experience that invites us to run our hands along the wall, grounding us in the physical space and moving away from the sterile perfection of standard modern construction. Now, consider the color palette, which is arguably the most crucial element in unifying these two distinct worlds. We aren't looking at stark whites or cold grays. Instead, we lean into sun-washed neutrals like sandy beiges, warm creams, and soft clays. These tones mimic the desert landscape and provide a neutral backdrop that feels enveloping rather than expansive. It is a spectrum that allows us to breathe, creating a canvas where the furniture and architectural details can quietly shine without competing for dominance. Wood plays a pivotal role in bridging the rustic and the refined, acting as the connective tissue of the design. We prefer lighter timbers like white oak or ash, often arranged in slat walls or linear ceiling beams that draw the eye upward. This linear application is pure Japandi discipline, yet when executed in rough-hewn or matte finishes, it nods to the raw timber found in old Spanish estates. It provides rhythm and structure to the softness of the plaster, ensuring the space doesn't feel too unstructured. Let's look down at the floors, where the debate often settles between poured concrete and traditional terracotta tiles. We find that terracotta brings an undeniable warmth and history, grounding the space in the earth, which is essential for that hacienda vibe. However, to keep it from feeling dated, we might choose a matte finish or a larger, modern format. Alternatively, micro cement offers that seamless, zen-like continuity that Japandi loves, creating a smooth flow that blurs the boundaries between rooms. Furniture selection is where we really have to exercise restraint and intentionality to nail this hybrid aesthetic. We advise against overfilling the room. Instead, select pieces that have a sculptural quality and a low profile. Think of a linen sofa that sits close to the ground, paired with a solid wood coffee table that showcases the grain's natural imperfections. Every piece should serve a purpose and spark joy, following the Japanese principle of ma, or negative space, which gives the design room to breathe. Lighting in a Japancienda home is never about blinding brightness. It is about creating pockets of intimacy and warmth. We love utilizing woven pendants made from natural fibers like rattan or wicker, which cast intricate shadows when illuminated. Sconces made of clay or unglazed ceramic blend seamlessly into the plaster walls, offering a soft glow that mimics candlelight. This layered approach helps us transition from the active energy of the day to the restful, cozy atmosphere required for the evening. Bringing nature inside is a non-negotiable aspect of this style, but we do it with a curated, artistic touch. Instead of a jungle of small potted plants, we opt for one or two large statement trees, like an olive tree or a large ficus, placed in an oversized ceramic pot. This singular gesture brings life and organic movement into the corner of a room without creating visual clutter. It connects us to the outdoors and reinforces the organic modern philosophy that underpins the entire architectural concept. The kitchen often serves as the heart of this design style, blending functionality with serious aesthetic appeal. We envision cabinetry that is handleless and minimal, perhaps in a warm wood tone or a muted sage green, paired with stone countertops that feature subtle veining. Open shelving might replace heavy upper cabinets, displaying a curated collection of handmade ceramics in earthy tones. This approach keeps the visual weight low and maintains that airy, open feel that makes the kitchen a place of calm. Let's talk about the bathroom, because in this aesthetic, it transforms into a personal spa and retreat. We see freestanding soaking tubs often positioned near a window or beneath a skylight to capture natural light. The use of continuous material like Tadelac or waterproof plaster on walls and floors creates a cocoon-like effect. Brass or brushed nickel fixtures add a touch of understated luxury, providing a metallic contrast to the matte, earthy surfaces that dominate the rest of the wet room. One of the most enchanting features of the Hacienda style is the courtyard, and we can modernize this for today. Even if we don't have a central atrium, we can create pockets of outdoor living that feel integrated with the interior. Large sliding glass doors or bifold walls dissolve the barrier between the living room and the patio. We treat the exterior terrace as an extension of the indoor floor plan, using similar flooring materials and furniture styles to ensure a seamless visual transition. Textiles are the softening agent that prevents the minimalism from feeling cold or purely museum-like. We layer boucle, heavy linens, and raw cottons in neutral tones to add physical comfort and sound absorption. A chunky wool rug underfoot or a sheepskin throw on a wooden chair invites us to sit and stay a while. These tactile elements are crucial because they engage our sense of touch, reminding us that this is a home designed for living, not just for looking good in photographs. Architectural details like niches and recessed shelves are borrowed from traditional adobe construction methods. We love using these built-in features to display cherished objects without the need for bulky bookshelves. A simple arched niche in the wall, perhaps illuminated by a small LED strip, becomes a focal point for a piece of pottery or a dried floral arrangement. It's a way to add personality and depth to the walls while maintaining the clean lines and uncluttered surfaces we cherish. Wabi-sabi, the Japanese acceptance of transience and imperfection, is a philosophy we deeply embrace in this design. We shouldn't be afraid of materials that patina or age over time, like unsealed brass or natural leather. A scratch on a wooden table or a slight variation in the tile color adds character and story to the home. It tells us that the house is alive and evolving with its inhabitants, rather than remaining a stagnant, pristine showroom that feels unapproachable. Window treatments in a Japancienda home require a delicate balance between privacy and maximizing natural light. We usually steer clear of heavy, ornate drapes and instead opt for semi-sheer linen curtains that pool slightly on the floor. Alternatively, simple woven wood shades can add texture while filtering the harsh midday sun. The goal is to diffuse the light so it enters the room softly, enhancing the plaster textures and creating that dreamy, sun-washed atmosphere we are striving to achieve. When we discuss the exterior, the curb appeal comes from a place of modesty and geometric harmony. We might see a flat or low-pitched roofline with deep overhangs that protect the walls from the elements. The facade is often stuccoed in white or a warm earthy tone, accented by natural wood doors and perhaps a simple black iron lantern. It sets the expectation for the tranquility that awaits inside, signaling to guests that this is a place of refuge and understated elegance. The flow of energy, or qi, is something we consider when arranging the layout of these spaces. Furniture is placed to encourage conversation and connection, yet there is always a clear path of movement. We avoid blocking windows or cluttering entryways, allowing the energy and light to circulate freely. This mindful arrangement contributes to the overall sense of peace and well-being that defines the Japancienda style, making the home feel intuitively right when we walk through it. Let's not forget the importance of scent and sound in creating the full sensory experience of this aesthetic. We imagine the faint scent of sandalwood, cedar, or dried herbs wafting through the air, grounding us in nature. The soundscape might include the gentle trickle of a water feature in the courtyard, or the rustling of leaves outside. These invisible elements work in tandem with the visual design to lower our heart rates and transport us to a state of relaxation. Integrating technology into such a rustic and raw environment requires some clever concealment strategies. We prefer to hide televisions behind sliding panels or within custom cabinetry to preserve the ancient feel of the room. Smart home devices are tucked away or chosen in finishes that blend with the decor. By minimizing the visual presence of modern tech, we maintain the illusion of a timeless retreat where we can disconnect from the digital noise and reconnect with ourselves. For those of us looking to renovate rather than build from scratch, paint is our most powerful tool. We can transform a standard room by applying a lime wash paint that mimics the look of authentic plaster. Replacing standard baseboards and trim with flush or minimal options helps to clean up the lines. Swapping out cool-toned LED bulbs for warm, dimmable lighting instantly changes the mood. It is about making small, intentional shifts that cumulatively create that warm, minimalist vibe. Sustainability often naturally aligns with Japancienda because of the emphasis on natural, local materials. We encourage sourcing reclaimed wood for beams or furniture, which brings instant history and soul to the space. Using clay and lime for walls is eco-friendly and improves indoor air quality. By choosing high-quality, durable materials that age well, we are investing in a home that won't need to be updated with every passing trend, which is the ultimate form of sustainable design. The juxtaposition of heavy and light is a dynamic we play with constantly in this design narrative. We might pair a heavy, solid stone dining table with lightweight, wishbone-style chairs. Or we balance a thick, arched doorway with delicate, paper-thin light fixtures. This tension between the substantial and the ethereal keeps the eye interested and prevents the space from feeling too heavy, like a dungeon, or too flimsy. It creates a harmonious equilibrium that feels stable and secure. As we look toward the future of interior design, we believe Japancienda is more than just a fleeting trend. It speaks to a fundamental human need for shelter that feels warm and protective yet open and free. In a world that is increasingly complex and digital, our homes need to be the antidote, places of tactile reality and simplicity. This style offers a roadmap for living that prioritizes quality over quantity, silence over noise, and nature over the artificial. Finally, creating a Japancienda home is about curating a feeling rather than just following a rulebook. We invite you to trust your intuition when selecting materials and pieces for your space. If a rough stone vase speaks to you, it belongs. If a sleek Japanese screen feels right, use it. The beauty of this fusion is its flexibility and its capacity to forgive imperfection. It encourages us to build a home that reflects our personal journey toward balance, warmth, and quiet beauty. So, whether we are planning a major renovation or just looking to refresh a corner of our living room, the Japancienda philosophy offers a beautiful path forward. It teaches us that we do not have to choose between the cozy, rustic charm of the past and the clean, functional lines of the future. We can have both. By blending the sun-washed soul of the hacienda with the Zen discipline of Japandi, we create spaces that are not only visually stunning, but deeply restorative for the spirit. We hope this deep dive inspires us all to embrace warmth, texture, and intentionality in our own homes. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but rather creating a backdrop for living that feels authentic and grounded. As we move through 2026, let's look for ways to bring that resort-like tranquility into our daily lives, one archway and one timber slat at a time. Make sure you like the video to support our content, subscribe for weekly design inspirations, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this design journey, and we can't wait to see how you interpret this timeless aesthetic.